Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the 2021 JobStreet Virtual Career Fair, your springboard to a brighter future. Today, we are hosting an industry expert webinars, and my name is Shireen. I'm your host for today. I'd like to thank JobStreet for giving us this opportunity to talk to industry experts and specialists, and this will help job seekers out there to better understand the many aspects of the industry and hopefully secure their dream job. So, without further ado, allow me to introduce our guests for today. We have here Mr. Chee. We fondly called him CY. He is the head of talent acquisition from time.com. Hi, CY.
Hi, good morning, Sherry.
Morning. And we also have James Chin. He is the head of core network at time.com as well. Hi, James.
Hello, Sharon. Thanks for the hosting.
How are you, gentlemen, this morning?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, really good.
Great,
Yes.
great. So, yes, we have quite a few questions for you today. And, with the pandemic and the growing, industry and needs of the internet and everything related to the internet, I think we have the right experts here to share with everyone who is watching many things that we can opt for as a career in the telecommunications and future internet companies, right? So perhaps, let me direct this question first a little bit to know a little bit about you, gentlemen. So maybe let's start with CY first. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what exactly do you do at time.com?
Sure. Yeah. I'm with Time.com as head of talent acquisition for close to 2 years now. So my job is work with a team of recruiters and we hire talent to grow Time.com to the next level. So basically, we the team in charge of hire recruitment and the hiring activity for all level of staff. Yeah, talking about 1,300 employee size at the moment. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right. Thank you so much, CY. And James, how about yourself? Tell us a little bit more.
So, my main role working as in time is mainly handling network solution architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So, before I elaborate further, allow me to explain what does time do. So, taking an analogy
Yes.
where our phone is our home, okay, our mobile phone is our home, and the shop they want to go, we want to buy for our grocery, all this. The shop can be Facebook, a shop called Shopee, Facebook,
Mm.
Google, and etc. So from your
Okay.
real life, from your house, you want to buy something, you want to get some service to the shop, you drive, you walk, or maybe you fly, right? So you walk, you drive maybe, or take a motorcycle or drive. So same like in the internet world, from a house phone, our phone, to the shops, Google, you need some uh, transport. It needs some connectivity. In this case, we call it computer network connectivity, right? So
Okay.
what does the time role is in this is we are providing the network connectivity to allow our home user to reach their destination. In this case, is internet, right? So my role in the
Okay.
organization is focusing on what kind of science or technology to be used so that our user can access internet with great stable experience.
Mm. Okay, very nice. Yeah, that's a new term for me to understand network connectivity, right? Because people, when they see big names like time.com, they just think about their phones, right? And of course, the internet, but somehow the way you have explained it makes it really clear on what are the different elements that go in this industry. And because it's very technical, right, and so many elements to it, perhaps James, this question is more for you. How have you grown your career since you graduated in this particular industry?
First of all, when I was in high school, I never heard of computer networking related job or technology thing. So
Okay.
yeah, So even though that time I started using internet, so started using internet with the dial up, some all kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the dial
yeah.
up.
So when I was in school, I always wanted to get involved into something related to smart home related technology. So the trigger point or what I get inspired is due to the high school that I went to was the first high school in Kedah who use a smart card system. The smart card
Okay.
system used as our the time was around 2002, 2002 or
Mm,
2003. So they use a smart card as a student card where we can use the smart card to buy food in a canteen. So
okay.
it's cashless. It's cashless.
Okay,
Imagine in
okay.
2002.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that would be so cool.
yeah, 20 years ago. So um, then we can use a smart card to do our library record. So we want to borrow a book, then they scan our smart card. So I was part of the community to involve in this kind of project as a student community involved in this project. So I was so impressed by this kind of technology. So that time the word I learned was we call it smart home, right?
Mm,
But it's basically
okay.
in two. Then that was in my mind. So until when I further study in college, I get into school focusing on robotics. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, robotics
okay.
related study. So when I study further, I feel that the main major subjects that I learned is not so close to what I achieved in the dream as a dream. Until one day, I watched a commercial video from a company called Cisco, and the
Mm,
title was "Welcome to Human Network." Okay, in the
mm,
commercial video, you can roughly imagine where people use their phone to show their flight ticket when they're onboarding. They just show their flight ticket, right? Where people can attend classes web online. So that was 20 years plus ago. And this is
mm.
what happening in your real life. We join
Yeah.
webinar, all this. So what we experience in today is that was shows in the commercial video in 20 plus year ago. And I realized that the scenes alive in my dream, and I aligned the dream with instead of smart home, I align with human network, which this kind of scenario is empowered by computer network. So when after I graduate from university, I get employed by one of the biggest e-commerce company in Japan. As then
Mm.
among the 400 new hire colleagues, I was the only one who applied the computer network or network infrastructure related job role. So that
Okay.
kickstarted my career as a network engineer.
Okay. Okay. So, what made you decide to go for that particular role? Because you know it's the biggest e-com company, and how did you know that okay, this specialization is something that you really want to, and it was your first job as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's correlated back to the commercial video that I watched when I was
Ah,
in college. The
okay.
Welcome to Human Network. So I searched further. What is this company about? All right.
Mm,
Then until this is company is providing some equipment for network infrastructure where we call it router, switches, firewall, and etc. So the more
mm,
I drill down, then I realized, there's some kind of job role is they call network engineer. Okay,
okay.
the network engineer.
Okay.
So then, okay, this is some. Then I attended a lot of the company hiring webinar. Then I know more further about the job role, right?
Okay.
So at the end, I
All
was
right.
hired by the e-commerce company, and then I was the only one who applied this job, even though even though I was the only one. But because I feel that this is aligned with my what I want to achieve, the so-called my original smart home dream. So I
Mm,
use a network infrastructure way or computer network way to achieve that dream, compared to others where they focus on uh, developing the web page or some data
mm,
analysis and etc. So I use a different
mm.
approach to achieve that dream.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And I think the key success is really one, you know what you want, and secondly is you did a lot of research to be able to know exactly, you know, what drives your passion towards that.
Yeah.
So I have a question for CY here, right? In the time of hiring many employees and all the various candidates that you've seen, um,
Yep.
how, what are the key success factors of candidates being able to be successful into the industry?
I think is about passionate about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
People say, you know, keep finding your passion until you find it one day, then you will be
Mm,
successful. Which for me, I think is it's not true for me. What I suggest is about really do well and put in effort in whatever you do for now, even though
okay.
some job is you know very mundane, very routine that you might not enjoy doing it right now, but you need to somehow find make yourself passionate about doing it. Why I say so
Mm,
because you need to imagine you do the mundane job or whatsoever in a team in a setup of a team, right? But end of the day, the supervisor or the manager who managing a team would definitely see the value of a extraordinary person who may be doing their job is so well that until they can overachieve the KPI, right? So my advice is to really passionate about what you're doing, no matter what. Even though something that you're not really enjoying right now, but because you do not know now, the work that you are doing right now maybe will become useful one day later, and also is an opportunity to shine that
mm,
the manager or the supervisor can easily notice who are really putting effort, who are really thinking how to improve things, how to improve processes, who are giving their best idea to you know to contribute to the team. I mean, eventually to the company as well. So I think it's about really putting your heart and soul and putting effort and time in whatever work that you're doing right now. Then one day you will see the rewards or the return will come later. Yeah, that's my thought.
yeah, wonderful tips there. So you bring up a very interesting point, right? So as job seekers, especially fresh graduates, when they first started out in their careers, etc., it can seem like a little bit basic or there's so many challenges, etc. So I would like to ask James, right? When you first started out as an engineer in the industry, what
Yep.
were some of your challenges and how did you overcome them to grow your career?
Well, during my first year as a network engineer, so I had a challenge to gain confidence from my manager to assign me some computer engineering related tasks. So instead of just paperwork. So
Okay.
when I have after working in the company for 5 months, I had the performance KPI interview conversation with him. So thankfully he have a very straightforward conversation and tell me that he has zero confidence. Say, James, I have zero confidence. Oh, probably less than zero on you. I was shocked. And then I replied, how can I gain confidence from you? And then he said that, oh, that's your problem. Yeah, yeah, you lost, you failed to gain my confidence, and you should work on something, right? And then which I feel very makes sense. Since then, I spent some time to have a thinking, and then after that, I decided to take some massive action. So what I've taken is, since then, I spent a long hour of studies on those professional certificate after work.
Okay.
This is the first thing. Second thing
Mm,
is I start accumulating my skill experience through various small projects by assisting my seniors. So regardless of how small it is, I always ask, is anything I can help on the work? So since then, I start accumulating my skill as experience through the so-called on-job training. All right. So with a well-prepared skill and knowledge, and combined with the a lot of hands-on projects, right? It helped me to get reputations and confidence since then.
Mhm. Wonderful. One of the key things that I pick up from your sharing is really as a young career person, you should be humble enough, have the humility to learn, to receive feedback very openly, and also to do that extra mile to take on learning on your own, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that sometimes not everyone has these kind of qualities. And people always look at what is their job description, what is my roles and responsibility, and a little bit resistant to go out of that scope. Now, how do you balance and manage your time? Because you're doing so many things, right? You have your job, you have your extra learning, you're doing small projects on the side, and I'm sure you're taking in a lot of other feedback as well. So, James, perhaps, two or three pointers on how do you keep it all in balance?
Well, as a full-time employee, we're being paid to work from 9 to 5. So 9 to 5 is we work for somebody. Okay? We be being paid to work for somebody. And after
Mm,
5 is our time.
mm,
After 5 is our time. So we're gonna focus on think how to invest on ourselves,
ah,
right?
okay.
So I have a so-called 3/8 theory. So if you divide our one day, 24 hours into three parts,
Mm,
First part of 8 hours is our working hour, where we're being paid from 9 to 5. Right? This is we consider other people's time.
mm,
And the second part is after 5, which is the time that I can control, right? But that and then in the third part of the 8 hours is rest time, where somehow we're still human, we're not robots, we still need to, refresh ourselves,
mm,
right? So these three parts is the second part, the crucial part is how we fully utilize the second part of the 8 hours. You spend the
mm.
time on improving yourself, learning new skills, gain some new experience, or you spend time on other things, watching some not dramas, other that not meaningful to your goals, right?
Okay.
So the
Yeah,
key
yeah.
crucial point is how you spend the time that you can control.
Mm, yeah, very nice there. I love your theory, the 3/8 theory. I think that makes a lot of sense. And you mentioning that we need to invest in ourselves. And coming from my experience before, sometimes employees may not always have the resources to invest in themselves, right? And that's where the challenge
Yeah.
happens. And in certain industries, sometimes the time doesn't belong to themselves much as well. So maybe CY, I would like to direct this question to you. There could be some negative perceptions for the industry like where you are in today, where time
Mm,
is,
yeah,
especially in telecommunications, the internet industry, e-commerce,
yeah.
all these upcoming and a live industry where it's 24 hours on the roll, right?
Mm,
It's not
mm,
like your restaurant you have an opening time 10
yeah,
o'clock to 8 o'clock, right?
yes.
So what are your thoughts about them, and how would you advise people or
Mm.
candidates who are very interested in this but have this concern?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, this is not new to us. We
Mm,
saw this from other candidates as well. And, they simply put review online saying the work hour is too long, we need to on standby. Yeah, operation, and we cannot have downtime, right? So our think
mm,
is a no, definitely big no to us. Everybody wants to 24/7 online checking and anything online, right? So yeah, so the negative, but I want to throw this question back to the candidate, or whoever are really really
mm,
interested to want to venture their career growth with telecommunication or technology
mm,
industry, is if you think of the bigger objective or the aspiration is about changing people life, about how to connect people, how to do business better, and learning online stuff like that. So if you're looking at into the bigger picture, is actually you are contributing to humankind, And from that angle, point of view, that you need to relate your role into that objective itself. Yeah, is very very stressful because of the long hours, because of the standby, and then I do not have much time for myself. But in a way, actually, the role is an on-job training. They give you the opportunity to explore different situation, different outage, different kind of error, right? So you got the first-hand experience than others. There's no one perfect network system in the world that that there will be no outage at all. So
Yeah.
so if you are the first, imagine if you are the first one to encounter this, then you got the first-hand experience, right? You could be with that kind of experience, you could be better than many out there that who are just maintaining the very stable, very routine kind of network system. But yeah, but you don't grow yourself, you don't learn anything new from that. But we're also not saying that we should expect a lot of outage, a lot of system error all the time. But it's just that it depending, if you need to switch the perspective or your mindset, how you see things. Do you see this the this crisis as a opportunity to learn, to do better, so we don't repeat the same mistake next time? And yeah, simply just change your perspective. What I suggest is, look at things differently from different angle, or listen to other experts, what they have to say about some negative comment, or yeah, is it really that bad, or why is my senior or my buddy or my team members are doing it? Because there must be something to learn, to grow yourself, right? From that kind of work. Yeah.
Nice, nice. I think I can summarize that to look at how you can turn your tension into passion, if I may say so, right?
Mm.
And yeah, you are right, in terms of how do you view challenges, right? And whether you want to build your career to resolve challenges, or are you here, just to sail cruising and just doing everyday job, right? How do you link it back to your bigger purpose of service to the community and the world? Thank you for that. Now, I've seen, James, I think you have always been technologically inclined, and you grew your studies from college, even your careers and everything that you learn within your career, within your job, into where you are today. Now, what would you advise people who are not in the industry, where and they want to enter the industry? So, say for instance, if they come from a very general job scope, right? Like administration or business, and but they have this strong passion about technology, and they have some basis, but they are not a bachelor's degree, or they don't have a master's degree in IT or software or technology. What advice would you give them to convince their new employers to give them the opportunity?
Okay, so speaking of the job opportunity in times, we require a lot of role, right?
Mm,
So taking an analogy, let's say from the house to the shops, we need someone
mm,
to build the road,
mm.
okay? Ensure
Okay.
the road is there. And second, we need to someone to ensure the road is safe.
Mm,
And we need to someone to ensure the road, right? Uh, how to connect, talk to the shopkeeper that, hey, can I connect to your house or connect to your shop? Someone to be good in negotiating, dealing with
okay.
people, and someone to ensure
Ah,
the building the road projects in progress, right? If you are good in handling with people, how you deal with people to solve different kind of people problem, and you are good in technologies, how you use the technologies, those skill set that you know how to solve the problem, right?
mm,
So in terms of job role wise, it's basically whatever job role we are thinking of that is also is required in time.com, right?
mm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
and then it was a very interesting one experience that last week I met a gentleman, right, with my colleague. He is handling the cost to build the road, right? The
Ah,
cost to build the
okay.
network. But I asked him, what was your major studies in university. So his major studies was about um, aerospace. So wow, aerospace. But
Oh.
what? How does aerospace connect to well the costing? But I say this is logic thinking. Okay, what he learns
Mm,
in the university was yeah the focus points was aerospace, but
mm,
the process the thinking process, right, the skill set that he applied is can be applied to any others. So
mm,
it correlates to what I my experience here. When I was in uni, my major studies was nothing related to computer networking. It was just
mm,
mathematics, some basics IT studies,
mm,
right? So when I get involved into the computer network world, I was been thinking what is a potential contribution I can make based on the skills and experience. So for those who are thinking to apply jobs in yeah, even though you're not from the industry, but you have somehow you're gonna have your you should, I'm sure you have your skills and experience, your talents, your skill. So you can ask yourself what kind of potential contribution you can make in 3 to 5 years.
mm.
Right?
Okay.
And
Thank,
yeah, so if
continue.
those contribution, why it did not happen in your current job, but why you have to make it in this job? This is one of the questions, right?
Mm,
So these are the two thinking process or question to ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So,
good. Yeah,
Serene,
CY,
if you
over
don't
to
mind,
you.
yeah, if I can add on
Yes,
from HR
yes,
perspective, right?
correct. Exactly. I
So,
wanted to ask you that as well.
yeah, I think a lot of candidates or job seeker they also worry or they feel very challenging, especially they're from totally different industry, different field
Mm,
work, right? Even harder to even get a chance to get a call from recruiter saying, oh, can we invite you for interview, blah blah blah. But I think first of all, you need to improve your application. Means that
mm,
the CV itself, you need to customize your CV according to the role applied. Means that
yeah.
not one size fit all kind of resume. Just you prepare one time, then apply thousand of open position. It doesn't work that way because
Mm,
imagine recruiter need to view if not thousand, maybe hundred of CV per week, right?
mm,
So you need to catch the recruiter to pay more attention to your CV. So
yeah.
the customization of your CV, using all the keywords required for the job,
Mm,
then make sure the recruiter can notice your application, your CV,
mm,
and then that's your chance. That's your chance to get
mm,
a call from recruiter. That's when you also need to improve or practice your communication skill um,
mm,
to present yourself better for a phone call first, then only talk about the interview viewing skills and whatnot later. But
mm,
but fundamental and I mean first of all the steps is to improve, customize your CV and your application for the role that you're really interested that you think you might be able to get a chance to interview. Yeah, that's my thought.
correct. Thank you, Desi White. And just to add on to that, I'm sure, Time.com, like James mentioned, it's a big engine, right? It's a big vehicle, and there are various elements and components to make network solutions, to make network connectivity work, right? So you have HR jobs, you have admin jobs, you have team lead jobs, you have business jobs, you have sales jobs, right? It's not just in network or IT specialists only. So that could be a first step in which you try to land a space, right? A job within the industry first. So I think a lot of job seekers sometimes they are very clear in a way on what they want, and they forgot about stepping stones, right? towards that ideal job. They want to be a network engineer, they want to be a network engineer, right? Even though they come from another industry or in sales. And paper qualification is one thing, but experience is also very important, experience and attitude. So sometimes you may need some intermission jobs, right? Transition jobs before you reach there. So what is your bigger goal? If your bigger goal is to come into the industry, the first step is to come into the industry with a customized CV. And I think we spoke about this customized CV in the last JobStreet Career Fair. So check out their links on Facebook, whereby you can review the content of how to build your CV, yeah, viewers. So my next question would be firstly to James, and then later I'll ask CY. Of course, you know, the most famous question these days is about the pandemic. All right. So perhaps, James, what are some shifts that you have noticed about the industry because of the pandemic?
So and during the pandemics, right? So a lot of the job requirement, job role, the way how we live, how we work, how we play, change
Mm,
dramatically, and it
mm,
changed the way also how we deliver the services to our client as well,
mm,
right?
mm,
So a lot of our clients, they want it on demand basis, fast, cheap,
mm,
right, and stable. So
mm,
since 3 years ago, we started to have a conversation internally about how do we do the automations,
mm,
right? How do we deliver the service to a client in an automated way? So one of the key
mm.
point that the key skills that even myself I'm learning is network automations. How do we make the
Okay.
service deliver in automatic way? So and also what kind of insights. So we have you just now you mentioned that time is a big engine. Within a big engine, there's a lot of data. We
Mm,
can collect tons of data, but from the data, how do we massage it and correlate it to become an insights, right? So
mm,
another thing, key skills that is required is so-called data analysis, big data analysis, from those
mm,
meaningless information, tons of information, but how we massage and correlate become a meaningful to support the business decision, right? Or make it as a precise investment for the company,
okay.
right? There's a so-called demand that I foresee in the markets, not only in time, but also in the markets. But with that, to have the that's insight, you need various kind of skill set to support you to achieve that as well. As it's not on what I say is a skill, but it's not. It sounds like a single individual job. No, it will only work with the groups of people to contribute their skills and experience. Then it can only make that happen.
Okay, okay. And you know, over to CY, what are some of the shifts that you notice in terms of job seekers that you get during the pandemic, after the pandemic, and how do they stay relevant to the
Mm,
industry? Mm,
sure. I think from recruitment perspective, there's one quite obvious trend that we are seeing is we have less talent pool for the past 1 year plus
mm,
because yeah due to the MCO and a lot of other restriction, we can only tap on the local available talent, and you know everybody also all the businesses, all the company out there also need to up their game, become very competitive, and we are just fighting the same pool of candidates. And I can give you some example like IT developers, right? We used to depend a lot on from Indian IT developers, but because of the MCO restriction and they cannot travel here, so we can only fight for those within Malaysia and those or local Malaysian who are available at the moment. And you know, talk about a lot of businesses also move online, so the functionality of the role become very demanding, And yeah, if they actually can easily get another offer for other company for that's especially for IT developer, website developer, or could be designer, stuff like that. So but I want to share is telco is definitely a fastest growing and a recession proof industry or company to work for. Because to be honest, even during this time, our business, especially for the consumer business, gets better. A lot more subscriber actually sign up with time.com. And you can easily check on social media. We always get the feedback, when is time.com coming to my area? When is my condo available with the time? They're always making such complaint, so-called complaint, which is a good thing, right? That it's very rare that you see such a comment and feedback for telco company. Yeah. So, and then our price is very, very competitive, very reasonable, and the speed is fastest in Malaysia, and most importantly, is stable. Yeah. We don't want to talk about other telcos here, but that's what especially James' team and the technology team, they strive for, to really provide the good, stable, fast internet connectivity to Malaysian. Yeah. So
Okay.
the question for job seeker to stay relevant is to learn and update new trends and latest technology, even though you may not find it useful for now. Just remember, data is new oil. Means that the more data and the more insight that you can control, then the more power you hold. Means that even though you now may not get a job right now, or maybe just doing a part-time job or whatsoever, but don't waste your time. Just keep learning. I mean, a lot of other platform now is free, right? We can check we can check Udemy, Coursera, all this stuff, right? So just keep yourself learning, keep yourself busy, learn so many things out there to learn, to get to know, right? So you wouldn't know, one day you suddenly get a call from time.com, then that's a chance to shine. Yeah. How you showcase your past experience and relate to your newly learned skill, then you could potentially get an offer.
Yeah. And of course, most importantly, since we are having this kind of webinar for job seekers to connect with you guys, right? With CY and James to understand more about your aspirations and how to bridge that gap. Now, James, I understand that you are currently the head of core network.
Yep.
And, as you climb the corporate ladder in the industry, many have this dilemma. Do they want to become a generalist or a general manager, or do they want to become an expertise? I hear this question a lot, especially from Gen Z, the millennials, and all those coming out into the job market, because I think there is this fear that if I grow my career in one aspect, I will lose the opportunity in another aspect, right? So what are your thoughts on this?
So the same question popped up when I started my career as well. So all time long, I also have this kind of thought as well. So it's a very, very good question. And once in a time, I have a conversation with my senior. He's a very successful entrepreneur in the other industry. So he gave me one statement about what is success in our life, right? Or the achievement in our life depends on how do we use it's a result on how we use our time and resource, as we all have the same amount of time. And one of the key success factor is how we use the resources that we have. So the resources that I'm referring here, it can be human resource, some analytic skills as a resource, some complex problem solving skills as a resource, an ability to create or design something as a resource, or this kind of thing. So since then, I got a thoughts, maybe this is a wealth secret formula. Wealth means that wealth is just not only in the monetary form, but also the fulfillment form as well, right? Fulfillment as a wealth. So the wealth can be it's a formula we have defined in the formula is a wealth equals to value time leverage. The values is each individual's core skill, and the leverage is power of team, right? The definition of team is together achieve more. So when I started my career, I focused on developing my core skill, right? When people want to assign me job, they will straight away think of me because I can handle this kind of problem well. But when I reach certain experience or level of my career, I can't I have a limited time to handle all this kind of problem. So how do I scale it up? Is I have to leverage on my team, right? And this is my learning curve from an individual contributor to become a team leader. This is one of the learning curve in my
Mm.
career. So, so this is a so-called continuous process where the value and the leverage will work,
Ah,
uh,
very nice.
yeah, together. So now this last time when I in the beginning of my career, I focused on particular core skill, engineering. Okay, whatever this kind of problem I can solve. But I need to learn a new skill early now to uplift myself, which is uh, management skill, leadership skill, and business management skill as well.
Mm.
And from that, when I work together with my team, leverage together, it become a great success, great achievement.
Yeah, wonderful advice there. Thank you so much, James. And yeah, I like the fact that you say how you continue to grow, right? To contribute and to see things from a bigger perspective as well. I want to scale down that a little bit to
Yep.
ask you, James, what are some of the hot jobs within the industry currently? So, what are some very most sought after jobs within this industry?
Wow, like if I can put the perspective what I'm hiring. So even like I said just now, I talked about network automation, right?
Okay.
This was a conversation where when we talk about automation, we may make people lose job. But in fact, no, as a result, we are hiring more people. We're hiring more people. I take the analogy, another it's happened it's in the history where ATM machine, when the bank use the ATM machine, people
Mm-mm.
may thought, oh, then all the bank worker,
Teller.
well, we will lose job. Oh no, you replace my machine. But as a result, result of history proven, bank opens more branches and they hire more people, right? Because they hire more people to focus on focusing on customer real problem,
Mm.
right? They need more people to, people's problem need to solve by people problem. You
Yeah.
don't want to hear somebody, you call to some company, a service company, and there's a robot serve you. No, you don't want to hear that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So as a matter of fact that same happened in time where we're hiring more people to solve our customer problem as well, right? But those tedious repetitive job, we if you can leverage on the computer to help us do the automation, we better do it because it reduces the mistake, right? And yet can maintain the experience as well. So one of the key job role that we're hiring now is one of the more on a programmer, a lot of programmer, data analysis. All right. If I put it in the name skill, like the skills, but the
Mm.
not the
Yeah.
gym. Okay. And then project manager. We need a project manager who can make sure that all the delivery happens in time. Okay. And also some for sure our core skill is network engineering. Network engineering. And since 3 years ago, we they start offering cloud related services. So this is where we started from zero as well. We started from scratch where we don't have no idea about what is cloud happen. Even myself, I did not know, I had no skills about cloud, but we learn from that. We brainwash, right? No, brainstorm, not brainwash.
Brainstorm.
Brainstorming, brainwash. We brainstorming, whiteboarding, right? And from
Yeah,
that we
nice.
learn it, right? So cloud related services, network security, security
Ah.
skill. We need a lot. We need to ensure the road is safe,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of
Yeah.
skill is required within time organization, even in the industry as well, right?
Wow, wow. Yeah, I think that's really useful golden nuggets to our viewers, right? To be able to see the expanse of how this can grow and learning from you. So perhaps, to wrap up, we'll just have one last question to ask both of you. Maybe CY can take this on first. What would be your top three advice for anyone in the industry to help them succeed?
Sure, sure. I think this my advice may be useful for any industry. First of all, you need to work very, very hard and deliver your best in whatever job that you're doing. As I just want to repeat again. So don't find a passion, but be passionate about whatever you are doing right now. So that should, to at least to outshine others. So to get your other stakeholders to, or supervisor or your manager to notice you, compare with others. All right. And always curious about the business and think about how your role could help if you given the opportunity. Example like if you get for myself, I treat my role and my team very, very importantly for the company, even though it's HR, right? It sounds like indirectly affecting, but actually we are bringing in a good talent. So this is the secret sauce to make sure the company could grow to the next level. So I treat my job and my team very, very important for the business or for the company. So I advise all the job seeker, all the candidate out there would do the same thing, that and always curious about business, always listen to the hiring manager, always get a chance to interact with people. What's happening about the different function, different division of the company. So you get the more, you can collect more insights and more data and more view about how actually the company running, and according to different perspective or division. And the last thing is keep your mind open with ideas and suggestion or even criticism, right? So I think now one problem for today's modern world is we are flooded with a lot too much of information and data. But you also need to keep your mind open with idea, but you need to do filtering. So only pick those really good for you, could help you, is valuable for you. Even criticism, we seldom hear that, right? But it actually is a very, very good feedback. So there are always people that trying to pretend and trying to please you and say good things about you, but you rarely hear about people give you constructive feedback to improve. And that is a very, very valuable for your career growth. So yeah, keep your mind open with that, and filter with a lot of too much of information sometimes. Yeah.
Thank you, CY. And James, what would be your top three advice to our viewers?
The first thing is passionately professional. So we need to be self-disciplined to develop and improve ourselves continuously, right? This is the first thing. Through the process, the continuous exploration, you find your passion. So same thing, what happened in the story with my manager, where he has no confidence on me. So with the continuous exploration, I discovered that my passion is to empower. I use empowerment as my career philosophy, where I use the network technologies to empower individual and social life. And this is what I'm doing in my daily task, daily job. So this keep me with the passion. It gives me energy. When every time I wake up, I don't feel like being dragged or lack of energy to work. All right, it makes me more energetic, right? And this
Yeah.
is the passions give me the energy to drive.
Yeah.
And also the continuous learning and exploration has to come with the massive actions towards the goal.
Mm.
So the second thing is to overcome the fear. Never fear of taking passive action 2 years ago. 3 years ago, when we decided to want to do cloud, we also have fear. But how we overcome the fear is to take the massive actions, right? So when we doubt, check the feelings, intention, intuitions, right? And when there's a gap within the skill set, then we relearn, right? We relearn. And for last but not least, we have to create some milestones and goals, right? So we have to review from time to time how is the current progress of a goal, right?
Yeah.
What is the milestone? And last but not least, we celebrate all the wins and acknowledge all the wins.
Very nice. Thank you, James, and thank you, CY. So viewers, that was CY, the head of talent acquisition from Time.com, and James Chin, he's the head of core network from Time.com. It has been an honor to hear your sharing and gain deeper insights of the industry. I myself have learned so many things, and I just love all the advice and all the gems that you have shared with our viewers. To our viewers, I encourage you to connect directly with our guests and to go through JobStreet, with all the various resources that they have, especially if you have more questions there. Now, check out JobStreet's virtual career fair that is coming up from the 15th to 16th of October 2021, and Time.com is one of the participating companies there. So stay safe, and thank you, CY. Thank you, James. It has been a pleasure and an honor to speak to you both.
Thank you, Sherry, for inviting.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay safe. Take care.
Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.